All right, so get ready to jack in, everybody, because today we are diving deep into the world of cyberpunk fashion. You know that feeling, right? When you see a movie character and they've just got that effortlessly cool, like tech-infused look about them.
Mm.
We're talking the kind of style that makes you wonder, is this a glimpse into the future or is this like a warning?
Yeah, what's so captivating about cyberpunk fashion, it's not just about, the clothes, the aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's like we're holding up a mirror to all our anxieties about technology and surveillance, maybe even a little bit of that desire to like merge with machines. And we're asking, what if?
Okay, so we're not talking about just throwing on a hoodie and calling it a day. This is
Right.
cyberpunk fashion has layers like an onion,
It's true.
but way cooler.
Precisely. And to really like unpack it, we need to go back, way back to the 1980s. That time when like the digital age was just booting up.
Mm-hmm.
Think about William Gibson's novel, Neuromancer. He practically invented the cyberpunk genre. Like he painted these really vivid pictures of, hackers navigating these gritty, neon-drenched urban landscapes, all controlled by these like massive mega corporations.
So you've got like the dystopia, but then you've got this like allure to the technology at the same time, right?
Exactly.
A moth to a flickering neon sign.
100%.
It's-
And that duality, it's reflected in the clothing. Think about the practicality of leather and metal. It's almost like armor for a world that's, kind of on edge. But then you have this fusion of those materials with these more futuristic elements. I mean, think about those light-up sneakers that everyone wanted in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Early hints of those cyberpunk aesthetics kind of creeping in.
Yeah, for sure. And those iconic films too, like Blade Runner and The Matrix.
Yes.
They didn't just give us amazing stories and amazing visuals. I mean, they gave like cyberpunk fashion its visual language.
Absolutely. Those films were like cyberpunk fashion lookbooks coming to life.
Totally.
Trinity's sleek black leather, Neo's flowing trench coat.
So good.
They weren't just costumes. They became cultural shorthand for like a certain type of cool, like a rebellion against conformity.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder how many people out there rocking a trench coat today realize they're subtly channeling their inner Neo.
Right. Like, it's got to be a lot. It's fascinating how those visual cues, they transcend their origins,
Yeah.
and they've just seeped into mainstream fashion now.
Yeah.
But we can't forget the other massive element that fueled this whole cyberpunk movement.
Okay.
Music.
The music, you can't talk about cyberpunk without mentioning the music.
No way.
Like, it's all about that gritty electronic sound.
100%. Bands like Kraftwerk, Depeche Mode, they provided the soundtrack to this entire burgeoning subculture. And their music, right, it was often infused with these themes of urban alienation, the dehumanizing potential of technology, which resonated so deeply with like the whole cyberpunk ethos.
And it wasn't just about listening to the music, it was like a whole way of life, right?
Yeah.
This DIY ethos, it extended to fashion too, didn't it?
It totally did. Like, people weren't just buying clothes off the rack.
Right.
They were modifying them, adding studs, spikes, safety pins, anything to like make a statement, stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
It was about taking control, individuality in the face of this increasingly like homogenized world.
So we've got the music, the DIY ethos, that whole vibe, but then technology itself takes this like giant leap forward.
Oh, yeah.
It's like cyberpunk fashion went from analog hacking to like full-on digital disruption. Would you say that's accurate?
100%.
Right.
I mean, in the early days, it was all about like repurposing old tech, scavenging for materials, that really hands-on approach.
Right.
But as technology's advanced, cyberpunk fashion has like evolved right alongside it.
Totally. Now you've got designers pushing the boundaries with like LED lights woven right into fabric.
It's wild.
Clothes that change color or pattern with like a tap on an app.
Crazy.
We're talking about like wearing technology now, not just being inspired by it.
Exactly. We're seeing artists like Iris Van Herpen creating garments that, I mean, they blur the line between fashion and sculpture, using 3D printing, biomimicry to create these designs that honestly look kind of impossible.
Yeah.
It's like they're pulling the future of fashion into the present.
It's mind-blowing. And like with augmented reality becoming more and more sophisticated.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine walking down the street and you see someone's clothes like transform right in front of you?
Right.
The line between digital and physical is getting like blurrier by the day.
It really makes you wonder, what happens when our virtual wardrobes become just as important as our physical ones?
Well,
Or even more important, will we see people like expressing themselves through digitally enhanced clothing in the metaverse
Yeah.
and then bringing those trends into the real world. I mean, the possibilities are exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time.
For sure. It's like cyberpunk is no longer just predicting the future of fashion, it's actively shaping it.
Really?
But here's something I've been wondering about. So we talked about high fashion kind of embracing cyberpunk,
Mm-hmm.
but isn't that a little, I don't know, ironic?
Yeah.
This genre that was all about like rebellion against the system is now being used by the system.
It is a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it really speaks to the enduring power of these themes. Our anxieties about technology, the blurring of what's real and what's virtual, that whole question of what it means to be human in an increasingly digital world. Like, these are ideas that resonate far beyond just those niche communities where cyberpunk started.
Totally. So how does someone like tap into that cyberpunk aesthetic today, but in a way that feels authentic?
Right.
Is it as simple as like throwing on a leather jacket and calling it a day?
It's funny you should say that because it really is about so much more than just the clothes themselves.
Okay.
It's about understanding, like the underlying philosophy,
Okay.
that DIY spirit, that desire to use fashion as a form of self-expression, even dissent.
So it's less about following a strict dress code and more about finding ways to incorporate those elements into your own personal style.
Exactly.
Got it.
Maybe it's adding like a subtle accessory, like with a circuit board pattern, or experimenting with techwear fabrics, the kind that offer that like functionality and that futuristic edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe it's going all in. Custom LED designs,
Yeah.
clothing made from like unconventional materials.
Right. So it's about finding that sweet spot between like rebellion and refinement,
100%.
taking those like dystopian elements and turning them into something powerful and even beautiful.
Precisely. It's about owning your individuality, embracing that fusion of technology and style, and maybe, sparking a conversation or two along the way.
So you're saying you don't need to like raid a costume shop to get that cyberpunk look.
No, not at all.
You can find subtle ways to incorporate it
Subtle ways, 100%.
into like your everyday style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, cyberpunk is all about bending the rules, not just breaking them.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, maybe you swap out that plain backpack for one that has, utilitarian straps, lots of pockets. Trade that simple cotton t-shirt for one that's like a high-tech fabric blend.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I like it.
Little things like that.
Or like rocking a pair of earrings that look like tiny little servers.
Yes.
Or like a necklace with a pendant that lights up.
Oh, see, there you go.
The devil is in the details, right?
100%. And the best part is, I mean, as technology evolves, so too will like all the possibilities for self-expression through cyberpunk fashion. Who knows what kind of incredible innovations we'll see in the years to come.
It's true. It's like having like a conversation starter woven into the fabric of your clothes.
I love it.
Like people might see your look and think, okay, they're not just like following trends, they're thinking differently.
Totally. And isn't that what cyberpunk is all about?
Yeah.
Challenging the norms, embracing the unconventional, and, using fashion as a lens to examine this like ever-evolving relationship we have with technology.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Well said. We've journeyed from the like neon-lit streets of cyberpunk fiction to the cutting edge of like high-tech fashion.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like pretty inspired right now.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's been a fascinating deep dive exploring this subculture that continues to, it ignites our imaginations.
Yeah.
Pushes the boundaries of self-expression.
For sure. Well, on that note, as we unplug from this like electrifying exploration of cyberpunk fashion, we'll leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What if the future of style isn't just about what we wear, but like how we use technology to actually interact with our clothing and each other?
Interesting.
Like, could we see a world where our outfits react to our emotions, project our digital personas, or even like blur the lines between those physical and virtual realms?
So cool.
Something to ponder as you navigate the always exciting, ever-evolving landscape of fashion and technology.